I was contacted recently regarding a Wallace and Gromit online flash game that is no longer available and thus is lost media. This was part of the original Gromit Mug collaboration with PG Tips, which coincided with the Curse of the Were-Rabbit's release in 2005, and thus was only available on their now defunct original website. Through the use of the Wayback Machine, however, a few images have been pulled from archived versions of the PG Tips website, but the game itself, at least at present, is not salvageable. As for any other evidence of the game's existence, there is none. In fact, the only other person I've seen bring this up online is a YouTuber named Aubrey Holmes, who created a video in which he reminisced about playing the game as a child, before taking a dive into old source code in an attempt to salvage anything and even getting in touch with various parties that would have been involved. On the one hand, it was great to see his passion for this game, but on the other hand, he's exhausted pretty much all of the avenues that I could think of in searching for the game myself. I have barely any knowledge of all this HTML stuff, but he has linked some of the files that he found in the description of his own video to see if anyone can make anything of them. So now we know where we stand in terms of the game's lostness, and it's looking pretty unlikely it'll ever be found. But what have we learned from these descriptions and images that might help us reconstruct what the game was like? Well, the first image tells us that it was simply titled Urn, standing for Extraordinarily Refreshing Neo-Robotron. Sounds legit. The name belongs to this seemingly sentient fridge wherein the game takes place, and is allegedly designed by Wallace, of course. Plus we get this amazingly satire Gromit Mug loading screen, which was way before its meme status even came about. The goal of the game was simply to create the perfect cup of tea, using the collection of ingredients available within Urn for the chance to win real life prizes such as a quote, were-rabbit sized supply of tea and bundles of film goodies. Considering there's not even gameplay footage, there's definitely no evidence of anyone actually winning these, but I can only imagine it was a large box of PG Tips tea bags and merchandise from the film. There were also lesser prizes, such as access to exclusive Wallace and Gromit clips. Ooh, how exciting. Regardless of this, what intrigues me is how the game interprets a perfect cup of tea. Like, is it based off the British standard cup of tea or something? Oh no way, that's an actual thing. So this documentation here reads, "The teapot must be made of porcelain and there must be at least 2 grams of tea to every 100 milliliters of water. The temperature cannot go beyond 85 degrees when served but should be above 60 degrees for the optimum flavour and sensation." It's true, Brits really are obsessed with tea as much as people say. Surely the definition of a good cuppa to one person may differ to another, like everyone generally takes different amounts of sugar and milk, so just how specifically were you able to alter these elements in the game? And once the perfect cuppa was eventually determined, what's to stop the player from exploiting this knowledge for infinite supplies of real-life tea bags? So many questions with so little evidence to actually confirm anything. And am I looking way too deep into this? Most certainly, but it's kind of my job at this point. In addition to the main cuppa contraption game, we also see Pictotron and Inspiromatic as additional options, though Aubrey Holmes states the former just never released and has no recollection of the latter. And since I've no other sources at this point, that's literally all I've got to go off right now. Unfortunately, that video hasn't seen too much exposure, which is why I wanted to make my own in the hopes of spreading the word to others who may have more information regarding the game. If this could find its way to the lost media community, there's a chance someone there may even have the necessary skill set to extract some files and get the game semi or fully functional. It seems highly unlikely, and like I said, I'm no expert, but I have heard of instances of Flash games being successfully retrieved and preserved in the past, so I'm inclined to believe it's worth a shot. Yes, it was hardly Game of the Year 2005, and that's probably a contributing factor as to why it's barely mentioned anywhere on the internet. I mean, it was hidden away in a games section of the PG Tips T website with no evidence of any advertising having took place, so I doubt that many even knew it was there at the time. Regardless, I just think it'd be really cool to see this obscure piece of history preserved after all these years. So if you want to aid the search for this mysterious game lost to time, you can help out by sharing this video on any lost media websites and forums and all that, which are full of people that can no doubt do a much deeper search into this than I ever could. But be sure to like and subscribe for any potential updates along with Wallace and Gromit content in general. Thanks for watching.